simple campaign, and probably one that a lot of people already have the information for, except they do it all online.
And they're missing, they're missing
the key step.
The money-making step.
The money-making step. So what we did is, again, it was just for a free report that we created, and we asked them for their name and email like we normally do. And then when they said yes to that, we went to a page. And mind you, we put this together so quick that I wouldn't say the copy even on this is
no, these
great.
These were ugly
it's
pages.
good. Yeah, these are ugly pages.
These are ugly pages.
Good content, or excuse me, good copy, but rushed. Could have been a lot better, and yet we still did this. So that's another clue there is good enough, and sometimes you got to just get this stuff out and see where you go to see if you've hit a pulse, to see if it's something that your audience or people want before you even go and put a lot of time and effort into it. So we put this together in about a week. That tells you how much time and effort we put into it. And so what happened is they hit this page, and we basically said, hey, this report is so good that we want to mail it out to you. And I know that's what I've kind of expressed that to some other people, internet marketers and stuff like that, and said, you have that opportunity.
Sure.
You're already sending them a report, except you're only sending them a digital download. So what if you just said, this is so good, I want to send it to you.
A hard copy of it.
And that's how you build your mailing
Yeah,
engine.
and I thought it was fascinating. I said, well, that's not going to work. We got to add another bonus. She said, no, let's just try this. And she was absolutely 100% right. People absolutely wanted the hard copy of the report.
Yeah.
They wanted a physical copy sent to them in the
mail. Yeah, and we did, which we'll come back to. We did include another bonus, a free
Sure.
DVD that we wanted to send them, but the idea didn't go to full fruition with it because we rushed the copy so much that I missed the fact that we were actually sending them this DVD.
Yeah.
But we did go ahead and do it. So to do all over again, I would spend a lot more time on this sales page,
Sure.
selling them on the bonuses and all that stuff that they would get. But the fact of the matter is we got 60% of the people to go ahead and give us their full mailing address.
Think about that just for a second. 60% of the people who gave their name and email address gave us their full
mailing
contact
address.
information.
Yep.
Obviously, just by doing that, you have a much more stable business.
Yes.
Hands down.
And good copy and the rest of that can get that up to about 80%.
Yeah.
So
That's typically what I got when doing something like sending them something offline.
Yes, yeah. But like I said, we rushed it. So again, 60%. And then when they said yes to that, this is where we threw the accidental member generator in. I said, okay, well, since you like the copy, since you want this report, and this was all about copy, it's our membership called Copy Confidential. So we wrote a report about how marketers and copywriters should communicate, because there's a lot more than just I need a sales letter.
Right,
it's a whole other topic.
It's all of this, by the way.
Exactly.
So if you don't have Copy Confidential and you like what we're doing here with the samples, it's very much like Copy Confidential.
Yes,
Something you should really look into.
Yep. And so that's the way we approach that whole thing. And so when they hit here, we basically put an upsell page, just like you saw in some of the other videos. A little. Actually, I don't think we had time for a video.
No, we did not have a video on that.
Again, we didn't have time for it, so it's just straight copy, add to cart. I want to go ahead and do it. And and here's the other key to this one. In upsells previously, you got their credit card here. Mm-hmm. So they were already going through the rest of the step. In here, this was all free information. So we had to ask them to pull out their credit card here and spend another $20 with us. And we had 20 to 25% of the people do that. So as they went here, on the third step, the third page that they got to, it then asked them, hey, this is so great. And we had a whole bunch of, we had bonuses, we had a great offer for it. But all we do is we ask you to pay the shipping and handling, $20, and you get a 30-day trial of this membership. 20 to 25% went ahead and took that. So everybody else got dropped into what we called our free report campaign. So we sent them an email that had a link to a digital download, because we promised them all of that. And then what we did is, and they had asked us to, obviously they filled this out, so we also told them that their physical copy was on the way with their bonuses. And what happened, because we threw this all together so quickly, is that the DVD...
didn't have the bonus done.
Well, they couldn't make the DVD
Right.
as fast as they could print up the free report. So, and at first, everybody was like, well, we're holding them. I was like, no, I really want them to get it. You need to get, the one key
Very
with...
important.
Yeah, the one key with this is, if somebody's asking you for information, it's the same as buying a product. You got to get that into their hands as quickly as possible. So I didn't want to hold up anything. So we put a little note there that said, sorry, this was so popular, the DVD is on back order, and as soon as the next shipment comes in, we're going to send it out to you. But what that did is it created another opportunity and another reason for us to go ahead and mail to them again. So we sent them another email that said, the shipment just came in, we're sending out your DVD, be on the lookout for it. And then what we did is we used one of Dan's, and it's in Mailbox Millions, one of the handwritten notes. And with all marketing, with all stuff like that, all you have to do is really create the reason why you're doing something.
It doesn't even have to be a good reason, by the way.
Yeah,
Just to be a reason.
it's fall. The leaves are falling, so
Right.
therefore the prices are. That's another one of my favorites. But basically, just wrote out a quick letter that said, "Hey, the shipment just came in. This was so important that I just wanted to get this out to you as quickly as possible. So I apologize for the handwritten note, but it was the fastest way I could get this out to you." And that gave us the opportunity. So the first one, actually, this whole thing came from our head copywriter. This was a chance now to send it from me from marketing. So now we went at it from a different angle and explained to them again, or I explained why I think it's so important that they get this, that they get the copy confidentials because of the interaction with marketing and copywriting. And we told the story from that side and gave another opportunity to read that. And there's a side note, funny side story to that one when I finish this. But then we sent an email, and then we just sent 2 postcards, 2 little postcards, 4x6, 6x9. It actually costs the same to mail 4x6 and 6x9. 2 reminder postcards. And what happened is we picked up, let me just get the math
This
right
is
here.
huge.
Yeah, because we picked up in the end another 30. So I think it was 15% on this sales letter immediately. And then we picked up another like 10% by mailing this out. And then we've picked up about 2% from both of these. So each time we sent out even a postcard, we had more people go, and all of this, again, because we threw this together so quickly, the only place we could keep sending all these back to is this
the ugly page.
The ugly page. And that's all we had. We didn't have a full sales letter page. We didn't have time to set up a toll-free recorded line. We didn't have time to do any of that kind of stuff. So we sent them all back to that page. And yet every time we sent out a postcard, more orders came in, or more signups came in
And this is
automatically.
what's really important about this as well, is that you really have to notice that if you stop here
Yep.
with one mailing, well, look at you're losing at least 14%, if not more.
Yep.
So really important that you do the sequence. And the truth is that we should probably
going.
keep going until
Yep.
it's no longer profitable.
Right.
But with the subscription, when somebody sticks with it, it's very, very profitable. So
Yeah, it's about a 25, if they stay for a year, they're worth $2,500 to
Right.
us. And it costs us 54 cents to mail them a postcard.
kind of worth it.
Yeah, kind of worth it.
Yeah.
So the funny story, the side note on this is, remember I said that we sent out this little handwritten note that said, "I'm sorry, it's so busy or whatever, but I just had to send you this note." I had somebody fax back a handwritten note that said, "I loved your handwritten note, and I have to apologize because I'm sitting in a doctor's office right now, so the only thing I have is paper and pen to write you a response back." And he had a counteroffer, and he actually prepaid for 2 years of membership. So
right.
that one there was worth
Was worth-
$5,000, which paid for that
mean,
entire campaign.
More than paid for the
More
entire-
than paid for the entire campaign. So we, through this, then quadrupled it.
By the way, let me just again point out to everybody here, if it wasn't because of a sales letter
Right.
in the
mail. We would have not gotten
we
a
would have not
prepaid.
got that order.
Correct.
Period.
Yep.
He was sitting in his doctor's office, going through the mail.
His mail. Yep.
Again, we really want to emphasize how important.
Well, and a handwritten, you can't just send out, and again, it's in everything that they're getting, right? You can't send out a standard envelope that's got barcodes on it. There's ways to do this
Correct.
to get people to actually open the mail, just like there's ways
And
to
Dan
get people.
goes over that a lot,
exactly.
right.
The subject lines and all that kind of stuff. And so who can not read a handwritten note? Because when was the last time somebody actually sent you,
Right.
like on yellow notebook paper, that. But then we weren't done. So then we got back from that and all. So this actually made us money. But this is another one of those where it's like, oh, well, you can take these campaigns out, like you said, until they're no longer making you money. So actually what we did is use the infamous cash machine, which is one of my favorite tricks of all times, which is simply 4 emails to a half-off offer. And we sent everybody who still hadn't purchased yet into that, and we converted, I think it was probably 10 to 15% who bought a $250 product. So you take that, which is, again, completely online, but now we had a couple more days to actually put together a campaign. And we did the same thing down here. We took everybody who didn't even give us their full contact information, and we went ahead and ran them through. We actually ran them all through at the same time. And then the way that I did this in the end was I would split this off. So if they say no and they don't give us their full contact information, 3 days later, I would just go ahead and run them through a cash machine.
Okay, so just to review this, Darce. So this is the opt-in page asking for their name and email address for a free report. They say yes. We then ask them for their full contact information, saying, hey, this report's so important, we wanted to send it to you. We've got some other additional bonuses that we want to send to you. If they say yes, we actually try to put them into a trial membership of the thing that this is selling.
Correct.
All right. And so if they say no to that, that would be a no. They go into the free report campaign, which again integrates online, direct mail with email. We then monetize it further by putting in the cash machine. It's an unbelievable model. It's really, really simple, quite frankly.
It is. And just like the other ones, these could keep going.
Absolutely.
You could, start throwing on. And there's one thing that somebody actually expressed to me, which was if you've got somebody, and not necessarily going through our own house list for this, but if you're driving traffic and you've got these guys that say no, after giving you their name and email, they still aren't worth anything to you. Just run them through a gamut. Just keep going of all the products that you have. Either on special or run cash machine after cash machine, because either they buy from you or they go away. Either way, they're not worth anything to you.
Yeah, that's right. So again, this is a really good model to get started with. This is the accidental member generator. This is a really good model to get started with if you want to get your feet wet with direct mail.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is you're adding in another step right here to something that you're probably already doing. You're probably already offering a free report.
And you may even be skipping over here.
Yeah, exactly. So just add this in. I mean, it's a really great way to get started, and once you get started with the direct mail, you are going to be absolutely hooked.
Yeah.
So combine online, offline for huge results.
Yeah, and if somebody isn't willing to give you their full contact information, they're probably not a very high qualified lead to begin with.
That is absolutely correct. So Darcy, what is the next one we're going to be doing?
We are going to take a look at the 0 to 6 figure escalator.
Okay, let's have you draw that, and then we'll look at that.
Sounds good.
Okay, Darcy, this is a really cool one, and this comes from my very good friend, and he wanted me to say this, handsome.
You did promise him to say that.
I did promise handsome marketing stud, Matt Zagula. This is something he actually created. I created a business with Dan Kennedy selling to very high-end financial advisors. He's one of the top financial advisors in the country, and they came up with this unbelievable funnel, which actually built a 7-figure business in less than a year. So think about that, from 0 to 7 figures.
With this simplistic
model. Although it looks simplistic, it's actually one of the most sophisticated models that there is. So we're going to go over it and explain each step to you. So the first thing that they did here was they placed a full-page ad in Insurance News Net, which is a magazine which is read by financial advisors. That is the magazine that they read. Now, so it's really, really important that if you're advertising offline, that you're in publications or you're getting mailing lists of your ideal prospects. And it's not always who you think it is.
Right.
So they could have placed this ad in
Financial Times.
Times or Investors Business Daily, but they would have way overpaid per lead. So this is a magazine that these high-end financial advisors who they wanted to attract were reading.
So he did his research and figured out where they were.
Exactly, and he was one of them, so that's what he was reading as well. So then what happened was, it was a really cool ad. So they had a full page ad, but then inserted, and it's in your samples, but you can't tell, it's a little booklet which was folded in half, which was on cardstock, glossy cardstock. So it actually looked like the cover of the book, which was inserted. So when you open up the magazine,
it naturally
opened up to this page, and it was something that you could pull out and take with you, which had the pitch for this book, Creating Trust Book. Trust-based selling. It is actually a great book, trust-based selling book, and even a better seminar. So people were requesting this free book, and so the option that they gave them was to go online to request this free book. Now again, they wanted to make them jump through some hoops here. So they went online, there was a professional video done, and it was very, very well done. But here's what was really interesting. In order to get the book was free, but in order to get the book, they asked a lot of questions. See, there's 2 ways to make people qualify. And Darcy, talk about the importance of qualifying your prospects.
Well, you want to be able to, like you said, there's more than 2 ways. There's 100 different ways to qualify your prospects, but you want to make sure that you rise to the top, the people that you want to actually do business with, and it's going to make it easier and it's going to make it less expensive on your side, and especially in direct mail, you want to make sure you're talking to your ideal customer and the one who's most likely to convert to a paying client for you.
Right. So so a lot of people get hung up on how many leads they're getting. It's not necessarily the number of leads, but rather the quality of the leads.
Yes.
So they had a very, very detailed questionnaire on this page, asking for every bit of information you could imagine, including their production, including how much money they were making. Because in order to be in this particular coaching group that they were selling, this was all designed to put people into a coaching group that they created, you had to be making at least $500,000 at a bare minimum to be in the group. So if you didn't qualify, they'd still send you the book, but then they wouldn't do anything else after that.
Well, and as most people will tell you, every piece of information that you ask for starts to decrease the amount of people who will actually fill out your form. And if we notice, there isn't one in front of here that's simply asking for a name and email.
They didn't want that.
He was good with literally not even knowing how many of those people were out there that were interested. He only wanted the ones that actually qualified for his product.
That's right. So although he wasn't making them pay for the book, $10 or $7 or anything, he was making them pay by making them answer a lot of, quite frankly, personal questions. And they did in droves, by the way, in droves. So then what happened is they would send them a book, and by the way, it was a real book. It wasn't an ebook. It wasn't a downloadable book. It was a book.
A physical book.
A physical book. Looked like a book,
Yep.
smelled like a book, actually tasted like a book. I had it. I don't even know what that means. But so people would get the book, and then they would need to request more information. And so if they were qualified,
So there was another hoop to jump through.
there was another hoop to jump through, right? So
Which he had a cost here
that's right.
that he fulfilled, that he was going to, again, lose more people out that door
That is correct.
weren't interested, and yet his numbers worked.
His numbers worked. And then what they did is people would request a shock and awe box. Now, we didn't call it a shock and awe box, or he didn't call it a shock and awe box. But explain what a shock and awe box is, because Dan talks about it, and it's really, really powerful.
Sure. And a shock and awe box is a surprise thing that shows up. It's a gift. It's something bigger than just an ebook, and you can design them in a lot of different ways. They can be a physical box. They can be a designed box. But inside of it, what you want to do is you want to shock and awe the receiver of it. So you want to have an overwhelming amount of information, free gifts, other things, and the way it's packaged can also start to elevate you and give them the idea of what your products are worth, how rich it looks, how
That's correct.
it's a leather bound, it's got the inserts inside of it. So each DVD, instead of just throwing a DVD inside of an envelope and mailing it off, it comes in its little foam spot inside of here, and everything has its own spot. So a lot of different ways to do a shock and awe box, but
And not a lot of people do it.
No.
And it's not only for online marketers. It is so all of Matt's people. One of the things that they teach him in his coaching group is to send out a shock and awe box to new clients. By the way, so they're using direct mail.
We did it with dentists.
You did it with dentists,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Exactly, and it works like
Yeah.
gangbusters. So they get the shock and awe box, and there's a follow-up sequence very similar to what we talked about
Yep.
before. The shock and awe box is designed to get people to come to what is called a discovery day. Now we don't have time on this particular video to get into the
can add that in
particular
for
of
them
that.
now.
Sure, put in discovery day right there. So, but a discovery day is where people come, they know how much it is going to be to join the certain program that they're going to join, and they're coming there to learn more about it. So again, another hoop. Now they've got to get on a plane,
Yep.
fly to lovely
spend
Cleveland.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely
And
Cleveland.
spend at least a day, sometimes two.
Sometimes too, right? And so that's another step, another hoop that they have to jump through. But again, this whole procedure looks very, very simple. Produced a 7-figure business for Dan and Matt in just about
And what was
one
the
year.
end result? What was he selling?
Well, it's really, really complicated.
No. Just give me a price figure, like a dollar figure.
I don't even remember.
Like
It was
$10,000?
something like that, if not
So
more.
let's
But
assume-
there was actually, there's actually way more to it
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that. But
But the fact to get to the $10,000, they had to jump through 4 different hoops.
that's right. And here's what's important to note, though, that it was a high-priced program. I think
Yes.
it's probably more than that, by the way. But whatever it was,
We'll make it 25.
whatever it was, it doesn't really matter. You have to have a high-priced program, and here's why. Because again, in this particular thing, you're not monetizing this at
Right.
all.
That's what I wanted to, yeah.
Until they buy your thing.
Well,
That's why it's
four
very
people,
important.
4 people buying a $25,000 program is $100,000. So you
Right.
could have run
Right.
hundreds of people through that
And
in
you don't
order
need a
to,
lot.
and you know,
Right.
in order to still do
But
that.
it's a beautiful model. So
It's a
again, the
difference.
model, magazine ad, could be direct mail, by the way, to a landing page asking for a ton of really qualifying information. That's a real point I want you to get out of this, by the way, with this funnel, is that asking a lot of questions here to qualify them, sending them a real book for free in the mail, making them jump through another hoop, again, to request more information on the program, then having them come to a seminar. But the real funnel here for you, for everyone here, is these 2 steps right here. Right here, okay? So you don't have to do the discovery day and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But again, magazine ad, asking for a lot of information to send them a book in the mail, which then puts them into another sequence. And that is the 0 to 7-figure escalator. Thanks,
it.
Matt. Okay, Darcy, we have the $4.95 grab-and-go money-making machine. That's quite the title.
It is quite the title.
Now, we have to tell you something about this, that this is untested. We're letting you really behind the scenes here. This is something that we're working on right now at GKIC, but we wanted to share it with you. And then maybe we can do an update about the results that we got or things
well,
like
we
that.
wanted to share it too, because it's not that the whole funnel is untested. It's just
Right.
untested for us here, because you've run it before, I've run it before,
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
similar. So
Absolutely. But that
we
brings
know
up an
this
important
works.
point.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
know it works, but you have to test out all of these different funnels, and you may find, hey, this one works better than the other one, and so on and so forth. Make sure you try them all out. Go ahead, Darce.
Okay, so this one is a complete lead generation. You're going to notice, though, that this is actually very similar to our 6X converter funnel. It's just bringing people in from a different route. So the nice thing for us is if we have a 6X converter working on when they take a trial membership, and we have a $4.95 grab-and-go money-making machine on the lead side, we've kind of covered our bases all over. So when this works for us, it'll be a home run.
Maybe we should just call this the machine.
The machine?
Yeah.
I think somebody else has that name taken.
Okay.
But, so what this is it's starting with a free report. And the other thing to note is when this works, you can start swapping out some of these different free reports.
Testing those.
Testing different titles, testing different things in there, and still use the back end that you know that works. So what we're really trying to get numbers for and test is our back end to make sure that we're converting people up the way we want them, and then we start testing back in the front end. So all we ask for...
You know what? For some folks that are brand new, somebody's maybe watching this and is brand new, doesn't know front and back end terminology, what exactly is that?
So the front end is where we get them actually to give us their information, and we get them into our system. The back end then becomes what we do once they're in our system with us. So for us, that kind of point is right here at which they give us their first name and last.
And then another definition is a lot of people will do is the front end is the first actual sale that you make. So there's two parts to any business, the front end and the back end. The front end is the first time somebody gives you money. Typically, actually not typically, in many scenarios, in many different businesses, you're not actually making money on the front end. In fact, you could be losing money on the front end. That's why the back end, what you sell them after they become a client, after they become a customer, after they become a patient is so important.
Well, I think someone really smart once said, the marketer who wins is the one who figures out how much they can spend to acquire.
Somebody smart did say that. And I stole it from him.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
I'm sure, as we all have, right?
Yes, exactly.
But that's really where that comes from, and what that means is that if you know all of this stuff in the backside, and you know exactly like the numbers back in the 6X converter, we know that every new member that comes in is worth $120 to us, no longer $20. Well, that means we can go spend upwards of $120 to acquire a new client because we know we're going to recoup it. But everybody else simply sees that and says, oh, they're making $20, and they don't see the rest of it.
That's right.
And they're only spending $20, and we're spending $120, and guess who's going to win that race?
We win.
Yeah.
Okay.
So similar thing on this end as well. So we're going to go ahead and exchange a free report full of great information, content information, for their name and their email. And I'm going to come back to what happens if they don't follow us. So then if they say yes to that, they go to a second page. And again, just like we said before, we need to now really sell them on this. And so there is an entire sales letter on why they should get this free report. And instead of just simply saying, it's so important, I want to go ahead and mail this out to you, we actually have an entire sales letter, like I said, with that goal in mind. There is a video still at the top. It's still a cartoon video for us.
Again, this is though, to get them to request the free report that they're going to download. So same thing, correct?
Well, here they gave us their name and their email for the download.
But this is to get the printed version of it.
Correct.
Right.
Along with some other stuff. So what we generally put like at the top is, we've sent your requested report to the email address you provided, which is a great catch because if they gave you a fake email address, you're actually not letting them get the email unless they gave you an accurate email address. So if they want that important enough, they need to make sure that they give you that. In the meantime, I have an important message for you in the video below. So you kind of segue that in to why they should watch the video and pay attention. And below it, we're writing out the sales letter for it. It goes even longer than the video. And so, the way we position this is we say, hey, look, this is so important because we're going to throw in addition to getting just that report from us, they're actually going to get an entire training from Dan. They are going to get a short little module on how to craft their message. They're going to get another report that Dan wrote, Creating Income at Will. And so it's about $650 worth of free gifts that we want to send them just for simply requesting our information. And the only thing that we ask in return, and the way we worked that into our sales letter, was we only want to work with people who are serious about growing their business. And so we're going to ask you to cover the shipping and handling, the $4.95.
Right.
And in the sales letter, it actually goes through, like, if you're not willing to spend $5 on your business, we're not.
Probably not the best prospect
Right.
for us.
So
Right.
we're okay with that. And so we're okay with them going away if that's the case. So they're going to give us the $4.95 here. When we send them to an order page, we do also include a little video then. So if they say yes, they go, yep, I want this $650 worth of free gifts. Go ahead and send this all to me. They click the order button. They go to a cart page, and on that cart page is going to be the option actually. So since Force Continuity is no longer available, we simply offer them the opportunity to add the membership. No shipping and handling, absolutely free, 2-month trial to continue on.
Force Continuity used to be really, really cool, and actually, Reed Hoisington, who was in Dan Kennedy's Platinum Group, actually invented it. So meaning when someone bought your first package, you could force them to take a newsletter subscription and a monthly, and their credit card would be charged automatically until they said stop. That is now illegal to Force Continuity. So you can't sell something, make someone take your subscription, but you can still offer them the subscription.
And by the way, when we offer it, in a well-positioned offer, we get about 60% to say yes to it.
Absolutely.
So you just got rid of the 40% who are going to scream at you. So it's not a bad thing. So they go ahead and give us their $4.95. They go through a normal order process. The rest of this is going to look very similar to the 6X converter. It's actually the same upsells for us.
Was that the 6X converter? Is that what you said?
Yeah, wasn't it the 6X converter?
It sounded like you said the sex converter. And that would be, quite frankly, a much more interesting video, but go ahead.
6X converter. So we have an upsell for $250, and then we have a second upsell up here for $1,000. And the same way we worked that in the other video, if they say no, it's actually the same offer down here, just positioned a little bit differently for the $1,000. We take them to the thank you. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on that because that's in the other part of the video. What's important, though, is I'll start back over here. If they say no to the $4.95 and they say no thank you, we aren't ready to let them go immediately. And what we do is we have an opt-in follow-up series of about 4 to 5 emails that last no more than 10 days. Because by that point, for us, their attention span is gone. They've gone on to the next big thing. And what we do in those emails is we chunk up what they're going to receive in the bonuses. So we pull little clips out of the videos, case study, different things in there, and we actually show them how valuable this $4.95 is.
Yeah, so basically we're showing them what they're missing by not taking them up on this offer here.
Right. So all of these are trying to get them to come back to the page that they left, that they abandoned, and go ahead and complete their order there. And the interesting thing is you get about 25%. So about a quarter of the people that would have gone away actually will go ahead and go back and test the offer out and then run through your funnel that direction. Following that, as we've said in all the other funnels, I mean, this really could be endless what you do with these people is continue to drop them into different funnels. But then we're running them through a series of case studies, showing them that. And then what we will likely do is do one last thing, which sends them into our webinar. And then as somebody else, as I said in one of the previous videos, just run them through your gamut, offer them a bunch of stuff. And if they bail out,
they bail out.
Again, this one isn't going to our list. This is going to cold traffic. So if they bail out, they were nothing to us at the beginning. They're nothing to us at the end. So if we can get them to buy a product, we're on the road to something. Now, what happens if they actually do take that $4.95 is that we go ahead and send them out their bonus package. That includes all the stuff that they were promised. It's in a mini shock and awe box we talked about in another one of the videos because it's a lot of information. It's all well packaged. It makes it look nice. But what's also included there is a sales letter. A sales letter for the product, of course, that they had said no to up here. And so we started a process of selling them into Magnetic Marketing, which is our flagship product and the first product that we want everybody to get. So depending on what that is for you, we would go ahead and sell them on that. And then as with the other ones, this campaign continues going down your ascension path. So you just keep adding into here your ascension path up through your company, through there as they become a buyer.
Right, so we can drive people to this page via a number of different things, banner ads, emails, postcards, whatever.
Yep.
They go through the same basic procedure. Then again, though, for the buyers, we're taking them offline again to sell them a higher priced product.
Right.
So we're really combining, we're really integrating the two, online and offline, for maximum impact and maximum profitability. So again, the model is very similar to what we talked about before. This is something that we're putting into place literally,
Yep.
literally right now, so we don't have numbers on it.
Yes.
But I've worked this in businesses that I've done, and Darcy's worked this in businesses. This
Well,
is a really, really good
yeah.
model. Not very complicated either. It's pretty,
No.
pretty darn straightforward.
Yeah.
Pretty darn straightforward.
And the numbers actually are very similar to the 6X converter from before. It might not be as high because they aren't coming in to buy off the bat, but you're still looking at least a 3-time value. So when I originally started doing this, we were offering the free report literally free, and then go ahead and give us your information and we'll mail it to you. And then we started that whole process down here without putting anything in front of them. And so we went from a negative lead cost, it cost us for every one of those, to actually going positive by about $10 or $15.
Which is huge.
Yeah, so we were going negative by about $50, and we come back up the other side and go positive by about $10 or $15. Yeah, so if every lead, meaning they still haven't bought your main product from you yet, is spending anything over $0, you know, you're looking good.
You're looking really good.
Yeah.
So here's the key. You've got a whole bunch of funnels. You've got a whole bunch of examples. What you don't want to do is say, hey, none of this applies to
Right.
my business. Because, by the way, we've been giving examples from a whole bunch of different types of businesses.
Yep.
This has worked in all different kinds of industries. What you want to do is pick one of them out and put it into place. And don't think you've got to be perfect with
No.
it. Okay? As Darcy said, good enough is good enough. Get it out there and test it, because these will absolutely, positively make you more money. And the beauty of this also, Darcy, is that everything is automated. If you're using a software
Yes.
like Infusionsoft,
Yes.
it's completely automated. So meaning you're making money literally while you sleep.
I think you might be making some webinar sales as we go right
I'm
now.
making webinar sales right now because of automated funnels like
Yep.
this, and I'm talking to you. So I'm Dave D, Chief Marketing Officer, GKIC.
I'm Darcy Juarez.
Thanks for watching us.
Bye-bye.